Now, in general, the options palette has this category over here, which is called the element attributes, where you can find all the libraries, all the objects, all the attributes that ArchiCad has to offer. Like, for example, you can edit your layers, you can edit the types of lines, you can also edit, for example, the pens, the thickness for your pens, the colors, for example, the fills or hatches. You can, for example, administer the textures that your surface has, manage the building materials, composites, profiles, etc. There are many bunch of options that ArchiCad has to offer. This is one of the palettes that we're gonna be constantly using along our whole course. Now, ArchiCad also has the ability to manage metadata and properties, some functions that are a little bit more advanced that we manage with the property manager and the classifications manager. Now, this is something I'm not gonna cover for this course, but if one day you want to manage non-graphical information or metadata and properties for your project, you can do so by using the property manager and the classifications manager. Now, the complex profiles is one useful option because right here you can manage all the profiles for your projects, whether you're modeling one structural project or if you want to model something particular for your architectural project. You also got many options in order to analyze the structural criteria for your project, and you also get the project preferences palette, which is something we're gonna be covering little by little in the next lessons. Like, for example, we got the working units, we got also the units that our dimensions are gonna be working with. For example, we can work our project in meters, but we can dimension it any unit you want to use. We also got the work environment options, which are quite useful in order to personalize our work experience with ArchiCad. You can also enable one of the profiles that ArchiCad has by default, either if you're working on an architectural project, if you want to work on a facilities project, or you want to work on a structural project. Either way, you can use one of the predefined profiles, or you can customize your own by clicking and modify one of these options. We also get the teamwork palette, which is useful whenever we want to work a collaborative project on the cloud. This allows you and your team to simultaneously work on the same project. You have options like, for example, when you already connect to a project which is on the cloud, you're gonna have these options like, for example, send and receive changes. You can send your own changes or receive the changes from your team, or you can even receive or send changes and compare the changes you had previously. You got some options like, for example, to reserve elements, which is quite useful if you want to work on some specific area, or you can even message your team. You can, for example, you got the teamwork palette, which is basically all the options that we got over here, but on this simplified palette. Now, teamwork is something I'm not gonna be covering for this course, but it's also quite useful to mention what teamwork is about.